Hi, everybody. Okay, so this is try number 2. I had my whole internet system thing go down. That I'm not even making sense. Like my Windows, my um, what's the word I'm looking for? Google Chrome crashed basically. And then getting back in, I had to sign into everything again and I had to authenticate everything. So I don't know if this is related to um, all the other things that have been going on uh, in the past couple days. Even impacted my work, and I know a lot of people were facing issues with flight because of it. So I'm wondering if we're all going to be affected by this in some way, if we're using this technology. So yeah, I've been live, but unfortunately 20 views. God. Yeah, I'm going to delete that original one and just redo it here. So we're going to pretend that the last video hadn't been started. Thankfully, I hadn't gotten very deep into things, but I had mentioned nobody's watching yet. That's always funny. I'll be going off here and then I notice, hey, nobody's here. Hi, Stacy. Does it look orange? I guess it's a little orange. Yeah, I like those orange reds. They're kind of, I don't know, they remind me kind of like Chinese styles, and makeup with that orangey red, very bright, something garish about it, but also because it is so garish, a lot of people shy away from it, which makes it even more impactful when you see a woman wearing that kind of color. It's just so much more stark, I think. Yeah, I love those orange reds. I don't think they're the most flattering. Obviously, I think a pinky red looks a lot better on me, but I don't know. I love them. You think they suit me? Okay. I mean, I can pull it off. Thank you. I can pull it off. I can definitely pull that off. Thank you. Thank you to these magical genes of mine. How are you, Stacy? Stacy is watching and I'm being kind of silly. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, I had to reboot the stream. So we're going to pretend that thankfully, we weren't too far into things. I hadn't even really gotten to sharing anything yet. But I did want to acknowledge the death of one of my associates that I made during my time in the radical feminist world and community. I was I'm still kind of shocked, I guess. Kathy Gillespie is her name. She was a Scottish feminist that I had the privilege of meeting when I went to RadFem 2013 conference in London. And she was a very sweet woman, she had such a pure energy about her, and I think when I say that about people, I just mean it's hard to describe and it's different with each person, when you see their pure heartedness. It is unique and special because, that's what makes them an individual, that thing about them. She had a really lovely personality. She was sweet and just seemed to have a very genuine spirit, and I never heard anyone ever say anything negative about her ever. And that can't be said about me. So just, put that in perspective, I guess. She was only 43 years old. And the cause of her death, I guess, is unknown at this time. So I'm just kind of sitting here and thinking about it a bit. You know, we weren't very close. I don't want to pretend like we were besties, but I have to say that she did have an impact on me, and I do think fondly of her. Okay. Get some more of my little iced coffee. So anyway, just bringing this up and wanting to acknowledge her for those watching. You know, I have a lot of love for the people that I've come across in my life, regardless of, you know, where it was. So hopefully I will see her in glory, I guess. You know, that's all I can say. So this morning we're going to be sharing some things. I do find it fun coming on here and like looking at things deeper with you guys in the chat. So doing it live is kind of fun. It's like hanging out and surfing the internet like we used to do in middle school when I first started. That was when I first started using the internet. And I remember especially in class, they did do a big emphasis for us as students on getting us trained with this kind of material. We had all those amazing, you know, those Apple computers that were, I wish I could remember the style, but they were so great. Oh man, let me see if I can look it up. Can't remember but they were big around like the turn of the millennium. And, you know, in terms of generational stuff, I am iMac. That's right. The iMac G3. All right. Real ones will remember these beautiful computers. I'm going to pull up. Oh, you get one for $167. $50 delivery free. It would be fun to play on these again. We could do so many things with them. They were really exciting at the time. Yeah, let's share this. Okay. Yeah, coming on here, this is how I feel with y'all. When I come on here and do my little watching and readings with y'all, it takes me back to a simpler time. And this right here, y'all, this is the time. The time of the iMac G3s. Yeah, we had a bunch of these, like, and I just remember, like, as students in these tech classes that they had us in, we would, you know, sit there, you know, and we'd like, sometimes we'd, you know, when somebody was doing something really interesting, we'd like come together around this thing and watch them and like kind of learn from them. We learned from each other a lot. And like, I remember like building websites as a teen. I was really into those like free website creation things. There was a lot of interesting stuff going on. So I know I was on like the Microsoft ones. I can't remember what they were called, but I made a few pages with those. And it was, a lot of it was vanity and stupidity when I think about it now. And it's so cringe because it was like teenage me, you know. And yeah, I definitely loved my GeoCities, and then, yeah, it was just an interesting time. So like, we're learning how to use this technology. We're also like using editing technology, like learning how to edit photos and also like make art with them. So we had some interesting things that we did with them. I can't remember all the classes though. Now I'm thinking about it, but I'm remembering different teachers we had and man. My dad didn't want me to go to that middle school that I went to. I went to a middle school in the hood. That was interesting. Like that was a make or break it school though. Like and I'm just remembering, I forgot our mascot was the crow. Interesting, interesting. But yeah, it was an interesting mix that middle school. And some people, came out of it really well, and some people didn't. But yeah, it was in the ghetto. But you know what? It's up to you what you make of your circumstances, in life. So, and there's abundance all around you if you know how to look for it. At least we had that at the time. So we had this interesting tech departments in that school. I'm actually really I enjoyed the education I got there. I don't think about middle school much with people, but I do think it does kind of it's a very important time, and I like that I like having a separation between like elementary and high school. Definitely. But anyway, yeah, this is how I am with you. I feel all nostalgic. It takes me back to a simpler time, a younger time, a more innocent time. Although I don't know, when I think about myself at that time, oh man, I was not innocent as anything but. And I don't mean that in some kind of like grotesque way, but I mean, when I talk about purity or innocence, it's about a person's heart. And there was so much anger in my heart at that time, and so much, not just anger, but I was thinking about it, sorrow. And I think, yeah, we forget about how sorrow causes anger in people. And it's an important thing to address. But yeah, that was when I was getting into my goth phase, and it's not a phase. It's not a phase. It's not a phase. But yeah, I was in all black, and I was just a mess. Like puberty was so horrible for me. It was so horrible. I don't know about y'all, but becoming a woman was hard for me. It's harder on some than others. And I think, I'd started to develop a bit of a weight problem at that time. So I think that impacts it as well. Why are you so sad? What's wrong? Why are you making them sad sounds at me? I should move on. It's not what we came here to do. We did not come here to reminisce about middle school. Tell me about your middle school experiences in the chat. Indeed, Stacy, isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible? Me too. In some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. Like, there's a lack of, I don't know, there's a lack of naivete, maybe. But then there's like so much more hope, and there's so much more faith. There's so much more of that, like, fruit of the spirit. I mean, you can't expect young people to have it. It hasn't taken time to root in them. And I think I remember this when we deal with younger people, try to extend them the grace that was extended to us because they haven't really planted themselves yet. And, all you can do is really hope that when your wind blows with theirs, that it's in the right way to form them. Hi. Hi. He's been very needy this morning. It's kind of sweet. Okay. I wasn't alone. Okay, we all went through it. All right. Yoda is here. And oh, Danny P, hi, and S.A. Brady as well. Don't want to leave anyone out. Okay, let's move on from this chapter. Okay, we've done enough reminiscing and mourning. Let's get started. I have to share this messed up article I came across. I just want, like, I didn't finish reading it last night. I did start it. So, I'm already kind of aware of what's in there, but I still hope that my reaction and your reactions is edifying for anybody watching at this time or on catch up. So let's get into that. Okay, so this is from inews.co.uk. I found this on Facebook. I sometimes wonder if these articles are even real or if this is just a way that we're being manipulated by, the algorithms to get us to react a certain way. So I definitely want to disclaimer this, disclaimer. This could be just propaganda. But it's so perfect. And I want us to talk about it. Let's talk about the propaganda, right? Because this can't be real. And if it is real, then, all right, lady, hopefully this gets figured out. Why are we as women so miserable? Regardless of what is going on in life, there is this general misery that women's, live with. We don't have to. It is a choice, but that's what this article brings out for me, this propensity of women to wallow. And not, I think it's a good thing to a certain degree. And I think it's that quality in us that actually is part of what is so helpful to men with having us in their lives, and it's what they kind of seek in us is that sort of that negative energy. When you think about masculinity and femininity, masculinity is a positive charge, femininity is a negative charge. But they are both necessary. It's part of how this plane was created by God. There's opposites that are part of a whole. And I think that's part of what marriage represents, and it's part of what all dances between masculinity and femininity represent ultimately. So anyway, I just want to give that big disclaimer going into this. Oh, hey, this is an interesting question. Toucan McGee. What a cute name. Oh, he doesn't really have an Irish name. I always joked that he was Mexican, to be honest, because I picked him up in Yuma. In my mind, when I projected race onto my cat, it was always okay, he's I don't know what's wrong with my psychology that I do that, but it is what it is. We all are funny in that way, but he is Irish. He is. Oh, poor thing. What do you guys prefer for breakfast? An English muffin, bagel, buttered biscuit, or toast? Man, it really depends. I go through phases with this because I do the whole thing. Right now I'm on toast. I bought some brioche bread recently that was, I've been making a lot of French toast with it, which is exciting. But just as a toast itself, that's been kind of my nice little treat. But yeah, my preference, I think mostly I would go for bagels out of this, but I'm down with all of them. I will go for any of them depending on what I'm feeling, where I'm at. I'm not gonna go to a diner and not have options, if my only options are toast, I'm still gonna leave that meal happy and satisfied. Okay, so we'll just say that. Anyway, what about breakfast meats? Okay, so okay, this is the article. I'm so unhappy but can't afford a divorce. I'm stuck with my husband forever. Like, okay, first off, that's the way it should be. I mean, that's the way it should be. I don't mean that like you should be stuck in a bad situation, but like it's just, even the title of it is so provocative. And it speaks to that like misery thing. And I don't want to discount women's unhappiness, okay? Like it is a problem. And I a lot of men don't want to open their eyes to how they contribute to women's misery. So um I want to put that out there as well. I do see that. And sometimes, I don't know, there was like a call on JLP yesterday where, hey, this man, I mean, I feel for him. I do, because he's very much in this mourning phase of this relationship that he felt was so perfect, and the mirage came crashing down, but it wasn't, and that this woman, that he, it sounded like, he got what he really was wanting out of her for so long, but she still was not satisfied with her life. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say about these situations all the time. I don't want to discount her selfishness, but I also, wonder what's really going on. What isn't he seeing about the situation? When people idealize other people or relationships, they're still deluded. They're not seeing things clearly, So, um, mm, Stacy brought up cornbread. Oh, muffins are great. I love a good muffin. It's I don't know. A full breakfast is always best. It speaks of abundance. But anyway, it is kind of the fluff. Anyways, back to the article. Okay, so, and then we have this: divorce rates are falling. Thank God. Amen. Yet 30% in a recent study claim they are only staying together because of money issues. One unhappily married mother explains why the cost of leaving is too high. Okay. So this first bit is they're coming up with this idea of they're coming up with this idea of what is it called? A cost of leaving. A cost of leaving. There is a cost of leaving crisis in the UK. Divorce rates in England and Wales are at their lowest since 1971. That's amazing. That is amazing to hear. That is good news. And they're saying it's about cost of leaving. And you know what? I don't want to discount this. I know the economy is not good for people sometimes. But a lot of that is, their own issues. That a lot of that is, and it's an unwillingness to make sacrifices. A lot of people value their lifestyle at the end of the day more than they do their happiness, or their sense of fulfillment. You know why that is? Because, the material world can't really satisfy your happiness, and they know that the grass isn't greener on the other side. I think that's the big thing. A lot of people don't appreciate what they have. And sometimes we call it a cost of living, but sometimes I think too it's acknowledging unconsciously that what they have is good enough, and they're not seeking more than just what is right. And sometimes that means staying with someone who, doesn't make you feel happy all the time. And this article is like very indicative of that. Another person can't make you happy. Your unhappiness is a you issue. Now, a person, I want to say this, there are definitely people out there that can make you unhappy. So I think I said nobody makes you unhappy. If people are being bad to you, yes, it can make you unhappy. And if people are repeatedly bad to you, you know, that's a situation that you do need to get out of. So, or you have to figure something else out. Because you shouldn't stay in a situation where you're not honored in your spirit. But this is just crazy. This article is just crazy. So anyway, let's continue. One survey by Stowe Family Law found that 60% of couples believe that the cost of living has impacted negatively on their relationship, while 30% claim they are staying together only because they can't afford to live alone. Yikes. But what's the cost of staying in an unhappy relationship? Here, Mary, 41, from Somerset, I assume this isn't really her name, tells what it's like to be in a marriage you can't afford to leave. And then this article is insane. Okay, this woman's story is insane. All right. I don't know. Dustin Nunn, I don't know who. I've never seen you before, but hello. I have no idea what you're talking about. Haven't heard about any of it. Point Fire, my goodness. I suppose, Stacy, but it's an interesting insight. But I mean, this is what marriage is. It's work. At the end of the day, like you're signing up to be somebody's servant, male or female. It's a lot. It's and yeah, if he's growing, you're going to have to, grow and work too. So I think, yeah, it is something that people really do need to consider. Because if that's going to be a problem, then yeah, it's not going to work. Work for who? It's work for both parties. You're supposed each one is supposed to be working for the good of the other, for the benefit of the other. That's a basic idea. And what's, I don't know, that's how I see it. I don't know. I mean, I think that's the ultimate idea. You're signing up to be a person's servant, right? I think about these things. It's I don't know why I do. Maybe because I always have that hope, oh, maybe I'll find someone, I'm I'm romantic like that, but I also I think practically about it. And then I do think about it. It's like, well, am I cut out for it? I like think about it. It's serious. And then I read things like this and I think like this woman's so blessed in so many ways she doesn't see. And it brings me back to like the grass isn't greener on the other side, ladies and gentlemen. Like what we have sometimes is so much greater than like what we give it credit for or give credit to it for. And like we in our lives we should like really kind of take every day and be grateful, because this woman is like not counting her blessings when it comes down to it. And like I'm reading this story and I'm like, God, what a situation like to be in. She doesn't see how blessed she is. Well, Stacy, I mean, and they're signing up for that. They're signing up for that. Women have to, stop agreeing to do that. You don't, I mean, as a woman, you don't need to do that. And there is no reason in today's society that women need to be doing that. Women have too many options to be doing that with men. Okay? Like, that's all I have to say about that. The reason they do that is because they enjoy, the slight benefit they get out of it. So, yeah. But it couldn't be me. It couldn't be me, Stacey. I don't think that's right. To me, it's a bad deal. That's a bad deal. It's not worth it. I'd rather have my life, than get into that kind of situation where it's so unfair and so like draining. Yeah. Women don't realize how soft we really are and how much we need to be in our feminine energy. So we need to guard it at all times as women. Women like that they're in their masculine and they don't see it. They need to work that out in themselves and come back to their femininity when they're dealing with men. You are a woman when you're dealing with a man. And if he's not respecting that, like you need to get out of that situation. You have options. Why aren't women living with other women? They want that. You can live with a roommate if you want to save money. Get a woman as a roommate. If you want to live that kind of life, seriously, you'd be better off. You'd have your independence from your weird family that you can't stand. You'd be stacking your money, but you wouldn't be dealing with all of that weird nonsense. And that's what that is. That's weird nonsense that women get into. You'd have so much more of your energy back for yourself. But women settle for that, and that's them. But it couldn't be me. Nope. This is Stacy's comment. Like, that's not the situation this woman is in, though. Okay? She's being like provided for. She's being provided for, protected, cherished. She doesn't get it. She does not see it. And this article is crazy. So let's get into it. We're taking our time with this today, but I like fleshing these things out. Okay, first sentence. Neither of us has done anything wrong. If I'm honest, we've had problems right from the start. Okay, nobody has done anything wrong. You are married. You are married and nobody has done anything wrong. Okay. What are you like? That should be it. That should be it. That should be it. You're married. It's supposed to be like people don't take it seriously. Like there's no faith in our culture. And society does better when people do. Our society flourishes when people in these kinds of arrangements act properly. And this is just like, it's supposed to be part of setting an example to your community as well. Like, I don't think people understand that as well. Like, what is the purpose of it? It puts women under, like, a headship with a man. It shows a proper structure for how to be, engaging in relationships, for one. It sets that example, for the rest of the community about what an enlightened way of behaving is. It creates families, so it prolongs generations. It contributes, in a greater way to society because it's the coming together forces to create more. So I just like when people don't take it seriously, but it's part of God's kingdom for a reason, getting that back to like what is godly about it here. So it's her first sentence. Neither of us has done anything wrong should be it. Nobody's done anything wrong. Nobody has done anything wrong. But you're married. So you've made this commitment that's supposed to be for life. It's supposed to be for life. And you would take your vow that you had before God, your community, the future generations, you're not taking seriously your word and what it means, as a legacy in the world, which I think is also a part of it. So I'm just kind of like, my first reaction is just like, what the heck? What are you talking about? Like, lady, if nobody's done anything wrong, hold your peace. Hey, that's a good comment. Yeah, they do. Well, life is boring. I don't think people want to realize that. Life is boring. Life is boring. Be exciting yourself, okay? Entertain yourself with your life. Make it fun. But if you don't know how to make work fun, then you're in trouble. That's my best advice is with working and what's kind of kept me working, I guess, so over the years has been that I make it fun for me. I make it a game. I make it kind of exciting. So that's life. Either you're going to find it boring, but if you can't find a way to make the boring exciting, then you're not going to enter God's kingdom. All right? Well, Fred speaking facts. And good morning, Fred. Facts. Yeah. The man is not there to provide everything. I mean, he shouldn't contribute to your unhappiness, though. He should not, I will say that. He shouldn't be making you miserable. Definitely not. But understand that your misery is not always his. Point Fire, hello, Point Fire says they are unwilling to work as a team and they lack trust or break their own vows. Exactly. It's like that's the thing about it. Like divorce is a big deal. You know, we act like it isn't, and it really is. It has a reverberation in the world when vows are broken, and it creates distrust. And if you have kids, there's a lot of distrust that comes out of being the product of divorce. Let's be real, especially if like you split when the kids are still growing up. That's that lack of a commitment to seeing that through to the end. The raising of your children. It, and even then, even if your parents do split after you're grown up, it has an effect. you know and then what effect are these people having on the greater society? And it has impacts on your friends, it has impacts on your community generally, anything you're involved in. Like, people don't think about it. What is the product of breaking a vow? What is the fruit of that? So I'm getting distracted, y'all. We haven't even dived into this. Let's continue. I need to ignore y'all. I'm going to ignore y'all and just read this and react to myself. So they met on a dating app. Okay, that's interesting. See, this is where it's like, I don't even know if this is real. I know people do meet on dating apps. I've met married couples that met on dating apps, but like, to me, it's just sketchy. That was exciting. Opposites attract, I'd tell my friends. They do. We need opposites to make ourselves whole. Opposites are very attractive. Don't get it twisted. And opposites are often the same. Okay. But having children and moving away from our support networks underscored those differences in such a brutal way. We're always butting heads, disagreeing on parenting styles, on where to go to holiday, whose parents we're seeing at the weekends, how we should be spending the weekends, as well as the big things like public school versus state school. It's the tiny things, such as where we should keep the tea towels. After so much disagreement, there's lots of resentment. Okay, so this first thing, what strikes me about this first paragraph is that they're doing the right thing in their marriage, but they're having control issues. And honestly, like, this is where it comes down to like asking women to obey their husbands. Like, he should be deciding these things. If you're having disagreements, let him lead. If he is wrong and he is a reasonable man and he sees that things are not working, he will listen to you. But you have to give him trust in order for him to lead. And a lot of women don't want to give trust. That's what this says to me. She doesn't want to let him lead and decide. She wants to make all these things an argument. She wants to make them into, her decision. And it's things that aren't her decision. And these aren't little things. She says little things. This is what she says are the little things, like parenting styles. Anyway, let's continue. After so much disagreement, there's a lot of resentment. Yeah, I bet. Fights often snowball, and we're throwing the same old lines at each other about what the other one does or doesn't do. Huh. I've got zero patience left with him and get irrationally irritated. So she recognizes that she's irrational. That's good. Over nothing. She gets irrationally irritated at him over nothing. I snap and then ping pong between feelings of anger and guilt. Mostly, though, I'm incredibly lonely, which also makes me feel very sad. I'll avoid eye contact or dodge any physical affection he might try to show. I feel on edge if he comes too close. At night, we sit on the same sofa, but there feels like there's an ocean between us. All right, so they left London to raise a family. In the process, became quite isolated. It doesn't sound like they're quite isolated if they're going to see different grandparents every weekend. It sounds like maybe the grandparents are a little too involved, honestly, like every weekend, and you don't live near them. Like, that sounds stressful. A family needs to nest. It's okay to get out every now and then and get some air, but like families need to like nest. You don't like sounds like they've got like their lifestyle is maybe kind of like, you moved away. Your life is where you're living. It's not this place that you used to live or the other. Men have to parent the wife and the child because the woman is of Satan. Yes, that is true. That is true. Most of the time, yes. Not always, but yes. It is important to understand that. And this is what I'm talking about. This woman is of Satan. This woman is of Satan, y'all. Takes one to know one, I say that judgment with like understanding, of my own wickedness too. But I shouldn't call it my own because it isn't my own. It isn't my own. And it's not hers either. So let's remember that when we like look at people. It's not them, it's the spirit moving in them. And let's pray that the spirit of truth moves in them instead so that they too can overcome. Because this is a situation, if she overcomes this, man, her life's going to be amazing. Hi, D. John Pop. Okay. And I just feel like how many women would love to have a husband that was affectionate. A lot of women complain about that with men. I know women who have husbands that never reach out to them to try and comfort them. And some women she's not appreciating that. She's not appreciating that she has that. A man knowing that you're miserable and emotional and of Satan, who will actually still reach out to you and comfort you physically, girl, what? There's count your blessings. This is where I'm reading this. I'm she has so many blessings. She's not even seeing them. It's sad. Okay. We left London to raise a family and in the process became quite isolated, not making enough friends and becoming too reliant on one another. On top of this, our relationship has become more and more unequal. The lion's share of the parenting falls on me. Most of the money making falls on him. And neither of us wants it to be this way. That's so sad. But it is the way it is. Like, hello, that's the right situation. He should be making most of the money. Like, why does she have 3 kids and think she should be making most of the money? You're raising the kids. It's his responsibility to be making the money. Why are you distracted from your job? Why are you like? I think the big part of this is women don't value motherhood. They don't know the value of it. They don't respect themselves as mothers. They don't respect other mothers. You know, they've never like you said, gone and forgiven their moms. So they have they have this, like, I don't want to say natural, but it's like that animalistic sort of disdain for motherhood. And they don't give it the kind of respect that they give other work. Because I don't know if they're just like brainwashed, or they, I think it is brainwashing. I think it is brainwashing. Like, it's the most important job a woman like is given when you think about it. When you like really think about it. But they don't value it. They would value their career more. It's wild to me. Well, like Fred, like, why are they worried? Why are they worried about that? Like, I understand that. I understand that, but like, it sounds like to this woman, she knows how to work. It sounds like she's had a career. It sounds like she's intelligent. It sounds like she, again, more blessings she has. People don't, like, again, 20 years. In 20 years, if you are still like with it, if you still have these qualities, you're going to be fine. You'll figure it out. And if you are like walking in truth and righteousness, you're always going to be provided for. Hey, that's a good insight. Yeah, that's another thing why people are like, would you marry, someone of a different faith? It is like not a good idea. You should not be hitching your train to somebody who's got those kind of fundamental differences. Because yeah, but I don't think this is that. But that's something to think about. That could be it. Like, yeah, that could be some of it. Okay. Okay. The dynamic is not what it should be, and we fight far too much. This is not the life I want for me or my children. I want them to grow up in a loving home, one that's happy and light, not one full of rows and moody silences. I feel incredibly guilty. He says he's desperate to make it work. He's desperate to make it work. Again, another blessing. She has a husband that is the father of her children. And this is the thing, they have kids. Like, if they didn't have kids, get out, you know? If you don't have kids and you're in this situation, like chalk it up to learning, and move on with your life. Sure. But they've got kids that are growing. Like she needs to figure it out. It's like, and he's still willing to be affectionate with her, even though they're fighting, and wants, has a desire to make it work. And he's also doing right by her and them. Nobody's done anything wrong. He's still providing for the he's providing for the family. He's stepping into that role as a man. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. Stacey says she sounds like a Karen. I know, though. This is a Karen for sure. Whatever that means. Whatever that means. But maybe, yeah, just somebody who's miserable and looking for a fight. A lot of people don't know that they carry around that spirit that's just looking to be antagonistic. They don't see that. Okay. I spend hours and hours searching Rightmove for properties near my mom, who lives 90 minutes away in a different county. But there's just no way I'd be able to afford the rent on a 3-bed on my salary alone, even if he paid child maintenance. This is nice. I'd have to borrow money either from my mom or more likely on a credit card. That's the only way I could find money for a deposit. Both of our children, 16 months and 3, okay, so they have 2 children, are in a nursery. So I'd have to factor in childcare costs as well if I want to keep working, which I do and which I need to do, but they're astronomical. Like, at some point you have to like just, fighting is a choice. A lot of women need to, I would say, stop fighting with men. Fighting is like the most unfeminine way you have as a woman of like winning. Don't use femininity, or I mean, I'm sorry, don't use masculinity to try and like win against a like disagreement with a man. Use femininity. Don't 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 fight like I just see this like don't don't do that. What are they doing? What are they doing? Like, anytime I've ever had it like silence when there is a known disagreement and you go silent, it's the best thing you can do as a woman. All right? Go silent. He knows you disagree, but you're silent. And then he has to start thinking, oh man, what's she going to do? What is she up to? I know she doesn't agree with me. So he's, that it's the kind of thing that, puts that stuff that he's having, his issues, back onto him. It puts your issues back onto you. Like, what are you doing? Like, like, come on. Like, I'm not like, I don't want to act like, but I mean, just just from what I've observed, okay, what I've observed in the world, when women like combat men, yelling, but when you get in that energy as a woman, it never works out right. When women go silent, when women walk away from fights, when women be the bigger person, they win. But you got to get, I just, just because like he wins in the moment doesn't mean you're not going to win. Like, and people don't think like strategically about things. They don't think about like what you're doing now is going to have impacts tomorrow. I know they think they won because they like got the last word. They got the last word. Frederick's like, they think they win. Uh-huh. Fred, you know me. You know me. I stay winning. Mm. Okay, so let's see. Well, I told you, Freddie, I'm also a pharaoh. I too am a pharaoh. Okay, so let's continue. Um, so this is a problem. She's thinking about being near her mom. She wants to be near her mom and away from her family that she's built. She wants to go crying home to mom. You don't know about ancient Ireland. We ruled the seas and we were everywhere. We were everywhere. During the Stone Age, Ireland was hot. It was a place to be. And we got around and we got into all of the royal bloodlines. So no, you're not gonna take my ancient ancestral knowledge from me. There was a time when we were the place to be. Have you seen the ruins in Ireland? It's incredible. Like, it's one of those things that makes me like wish that like my legs worked because I would love to see some of that stuff. The Stone Age was amazing. Like, it's just so fascinating. Ugh. Hmm. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's interesting, and all of this stuff, you see in Egypt. So it's interesting, like all around these different parts of the world, you have the same kind of influence of the sun god. It is interesting, and we even have it today. A lot of the symbology that's used is taken from that. So yes, I know, and people sometimes, yeah, wonder about it, but it is a big part of the tradition. Ireland is really a place of intense scholarship, actually, and like especially was during the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages weren't dark in Ireland either. They were like very prominent. They had the monasteries and the religious orders that were in Ireland were very, very important. Ow. Sorry, my wrist is quite uh, today. Yes. And it will not scare me. No. No. Not like not in a while. Like I'm really, yeah. My legs are like they do not work well. I mean, I can move them and that kind of thing, but I'm very like just out of order. I don't know what to say. Out of order. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's the snakes are they represent like well, it wasn't just those people, but it was pretty much any kind of pagans. They wanted to, spread get really stamp out paganism, the pagan practices. So he was part of that. Which, yeah, there were orders and societies like that that it really came to represent like all of it. But the Irish really have kept a lot of traditional beliefs too. Yeah, I know my history. I know about my people. I don't know. I haven't been in water. I have a friend kind of encouraging me too, but I just don't know where to go really. And I mean, there are pools around. I could probably go to the one at the university, or I could probably. There's also one at the local gym. I used to go to it, um, but I don't know that I would like keep it up. It's especially I don't know. It's hard to figure out how I would incorporate that in my life right now. But it is something I'm considering and put it out there. It's a good idea to get me in the water. I just am not sure how, especially like with my mobility issues. But it would be nice to like move around like that. I think it would help build my muscle definitely. Because I do exercise a bit, but it's nothing like I would like to. Like if I got in the water, I could, I think, get more cardiovascular workout, which is difficult for me to get right now. And I know is an area where I'm lacking. Stacy, I don't want to get into it. Like, just let's not get into that. Let's not get into all that. Let's go back to the article. Okay. Okay. So she's talking about inflation, cost of living, da da da. I don't know. Okay, so let's just continue. I'm skipping through some of this. Having no savings also makes everything feel very risky. Even if I found a place that I could make work, what if the costs went up again? Or what if we needed costs will always go up. Talk to an old person about how much candy cost in their day, okay? Figure it out. Oh, the costs will be going up and they will continue to. So, figure out what you're going to do. I've spent years paying off credit card debt I had before I met my husband. Okay, woo, credit card debt. What kind of debt? Not student debt, not medical debt, credit card debt. All right. The idea of going back to that fills me with dread and anxiety. Being in debt really impacted my mental health. Yeah, it will. But some days I wonder if that's the price of my freedom. Like, you aren't free. Like, what makes you, like, what an illusion to think you're free because you're going to, you're working a job instead of working for your family. Like, what an illusion. You're really going to trade one master for another, and you would rather be you would rather serve a master that is not your children and your husband. It's weird to me. Like, it's weird to me. Like, I'm just trying to get like, you know how many women would kill to be in her position too? Like, it's amazing to me. Like, it's just amazing to me. She's debt free, even though she spent years racking up credit card debt. Stop it. I'm not going to be on forever. It's okay. It's okay. She's not going to be on forever. You okay? You okay? She's not going to be on forever. Ugh. Okay. Yeah. Sorry to text a friend here. I don't know. Should I continue with this? It's crazy. Okay. Financially, we're worlds apart. He makes six figures, gets huge bonuses, and saves most of that. I work in the arts, earning less than $30,000 with barely any savings. When we first met, I was determined to show him I didn't need his money. And when we moved in together, we split everything 50-50. Over the years, this began to slip. He started paying for holidays and paying more of the rent. As he should. He should have been doing that from the beginning. Listen, like, I was determined to show him I didn't need his money. Why? Why do you have something to prove about the fact that you can provide for yourself if you need to? He should know that. He should know that and still take care of you if you're living with him. If he has that kind of access to you, what is wrong with these women? Well, what's wrong with women that they like don't like get it? Yeah, you're right, Fred. I was being like, but I know I'm like, yeah, I was being too dramatic with that language. But yeah, but there are so many women who are married should realize that other women are eyeing their husbands too. If another woman sees that he's a good man that provides for his family and he treats his wife in a good way, that's attractive to other women. Like, I don't think women like get that. Like, so she's like really in this position of that other women covet, quite frankly. And she's not, thinking critically about that. She's like why would you want to, as a woman, be 50-50? So you prove to him it's about control. It's about power and control. She doesn't want to give up power and control because if he makes all the money, then he really gets to like make all the rules. And she doesn't trust that. She doesn't trust him. She's got serious trust issues. Despite, the fact that it doesn't seem like that kind of situation. It seems like he's committed. Okay. Okay. He bought our current house and pays the mortgage, as he should. The longer we were together, the less protective of my financial independence I was. You're married, you're not financially independent when you're married. You're financially interdependent. And then this is another problem with marriages. There's like an unwillingness to like have our money. Like people want to act like it's not, they don't want to like really look big picture. Like that's not his money. She's talking about his money. It's your family's money. It's your children's money. It's your money. Honey, get it together. He's your husband. That's he bought the house. It's y'all's house. That's your house. It's not his because just because he bought it doesn't mean it's his. Just because he's earning it doesn't mean it's his. He's earning it for y'all. Yikes, ladies. Like what's this like thing? Like they don't get it. Like they don't get it. I'm wondering about her background because later in this article, okay, this is interesting. I read about EFIT funds in women's magazines, advising women to save in case they needed to get out. I've spent so long paying off debt that even being supported by my husband and paying for things I can has meant that I haven't accumulated savings. But now I see, so she has her own accounts, but she hasn't accumulated savings. So it sounds like her spending issues haven't gone down. Her awareness of the fact that her husband's money is also her money hasn't gone up. Like she's just not doing this right. She's got this like independent financial independent thing going on, and I'm not saying that a woman should have her savings. You should be like, I think a sensible person will be bringing in money, however, especially if she was working. If she's been working all this time, why hasn't she invested her money into things that are like, earning her something? I think about that, like, doesn't she have like, she says she doesn't have savings. But this was an issue before she met her husband. It's not her husband's fault. She's like in the financial bind she is. It's hers. And, it sounds like she's financially reckless, honestly. That's what I'm kind of seeing from this. Like, she's financially reckless, but obsessed with having her own finances so that she can have some like level of control. She's angry that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is like providing, and he's providing wealth for her. Like, and she doesn't see that she's part of that. Like, a lot of people don't realize that men earn more money once they get married. Marriage pushes men to the next level. Getting married, having kids, taking on those responsibilities, it financially pushes men further than they would get on their own, which I think a lot of women don't realize. Again, she's not getting that, like, she's part of this. You're part of building that man. If he's like, was he earning that when they got together? I doubt it. If he was making that kind of money where he can like buy, houses and provide for a family when they first got together and started doing that stuff, like she doesn't see that she's like built him. It's wild to me. Okay. I should put this comment down. All right, I'm going off about this. Let's just finish this article. I spent so long paying off debt that even being supported by my husband and paying for things I can has meant that I haven't accumulated savings. But now I see I should have found a way to do it and probably could have if I'd been more disciplined. Yeah, you've played this all wrong, sis, and it's down to your financial irresponsibility. And if you are so financially irresponsible, like maybe your husband does need to lead financially because you can't. I mean, like, stop trying to be in his role. Take the work you have in front of you more seriously. This is crazy. I don't know. Like, it's crazy. Things really changed when we had kids. His money became our money, and I accepted that fully at the time. But if I tell him I want to leave, it won't be our money anymore. It will be his. I haven't even dared Google divorce costs. Yep. I mean, I'm just like, hi, what's up? You don't like this? It's horrible. It's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible. It's horrible. It's not horrible. It's horrible. I know. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, is this even real? It sounds like just one of these stories of women being miserable. A few years ago, we tried couples therapy. I thought that maybe we just needed some help getting back on track after the chaos of having children. Or at least that was what I was telling myself. The upshot was that if we couldn't find a way to compromise, then perhaps we were better off out of the relationship. But it also helps me really appreciate, in a way I hadn't before, that as a child of divorce, he's desperate for things not to go the way it did with his parents. A lot of animosity and a bitter court case. And that's a major reason he clings on so much. It broke my heart. That is so sad. Yeah, he's the product of divorce. And he, no doubt, this is again like generational curses. He no doubt married a woman that was like his mother. Or maybe there's some elements of like, you know, both of his parents going on in the relationship that they both mirror. Maybe he's more like his mother than his father, you know. But regardless, he's kind of, this guy is in the same situation, that he's in this tense divorce and like, yes, good kid. Hmm. All right, sorry, where was I, y'all? Why? You're so sweet. Why are you so good? Where's your little comb? Your little comb was over here last time I was combing you. I know. Mm. Mm. You're being sweet this morning. Oh my goodness. You're being so sweet. Wasn't he being sweet this morning? Anyway, yeah, just crazy. I'm done with this article. Let's get out of here. Yikes. Yikes, y'all. Your mom looks like Elizabeth Taylor. You've observed Sips for many years. I love Elizabeth Taylor. Your mom looks like Elizabeth Taylor? Dang. She was, I don't know. I love Elizabeth Taylor. I watched National Velvet recently, which was, I think that was her first film. Maybe? I don't know. I have to look it up. I don't know if it was her first ever job or anything like that, but I don't think so. But yeah, she stars in it with Mickey Rourke, and I don't know how old she was when it was recorded, but she's just this. She's a little girl, and even at that time, like she was so captivating watching on the screen. I was just like, oh my god, like those eyes and like that dark hair and just the structure of her face and like just her evolution. I just love Elizabeth Taylor. And I love her evolution as a person as well and her life story. It's just crazy. Like she was just, I love Hollywood glamour. I do. I love old Hollywood. I love a lot of the stars, but Elizabeth has a special place for me. Maybe just because she's also a raven-haired beauty. But yeah, she's incredible looking, incredible. Like, and even as an old woman, like looking at her face, I love looking at beautiful women aging. It's something. It's incredible to watch how like the skin changes around the bones. It's fascinating. I don't know. And so with her, just looking at her as a little old lady with like a big white wig on, and all of her accoutrements and her makeup done, and just looking at her pretty eyes dancing, and just the way the light hits it. I don't know. Everything about her, just throughout her whole life, just so lovely. I don't know. A beauty. I love beauty. I do. I appreciate it in people. And I don't think I think people really devalue it sometimes. And it's like, it's superficial and it's not. And it's not. Because it's not. There's something superficial about it, but there's also something that isn't. I don't know. She just had such a. I have a troll in the chat. Jesus. She said, I love Hollywood pedophiles. Oh my God. I love perfume. I love perfume. Okay, Dijon Pa. Essential oils. You sound like, what, are you a hotep or something? Someone mentioned Chanel No. 5, not Channel No. 5. I do have a bottle of it. And yes, I do bring it out from time to time when I need some of that. I love perfume. I love how perfume is made. It's just a fascinating product from like start to finish. Like watch documentaries about perfume sometimes. It's riveting, honestly. And like even the history of perfume. But yeah, I love perfume oils as well. So I would say, if perfume oils, maybe, it doesn't have to be an essential oil. You could get a perfume oil. It soaks into the skin differently, has a different kind of effect. Um, but I like perfumes. I'm wearing one today. It's Vanilla Vibes by what is the name of it? It's like I know I have to look it up. I like perfumes. Stella, you're a freak. What the heck? Yeah, guys in the chat, what cologne do you wear? Or are you asking me, Yoda? I don't really know much about colognes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that. I'm gonna take my little headband, fix it here. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Now, move forward. Oh, I'm signed out. I was like, why is this all blank? Crazy. Oh, heck. Hmm. I thought I'd save something I wanted to watch with y'all, but now I'm not so sure. But you know what? Maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's for the best. I think I should maybe, I don't know, how long have I been on? An hour and a half. I think I'm going to go off for now. I have someone coming over in a little bit. It's going to help me with some stuff. So I'm thinking maybe I should pivot now since I'm not seeing what I thought I wanted on my thing. And yeah, I think I better kind of get my house ready for company. So, you know what? Thanks for being here this morning, chatting, watching me go over that article. I'll be back another time, maybe later today, even. We'll see. Bye.